Hi, how are you? Today what I'm going to be taking a look at is Guitar Scientist, and that's on a website called guitarscientist.com, and this is a chord chart editor. And the reason I'm looking at this is because I've been looking around for something that I can easily make charts of the chords for a course that I'm making. So this is a site that I've been to before, and I thought this was interesting. And as I go this time, what I'm faced with is it says Guitar Scientist 2. So I didn't really get to use Guitar Scientist 1 that much, but I find it intriguing. If I click on this, then it's going to load up, and it's a little bit different interface. I think it's a little bit cleaner. You can minimize this over here. All you need to do to make chords is you just click on the chords like that. And then one interesting thing I found, if we open this one up again, is that this has layers in it. So if I wanted to add something like this, if I click on layer 6, I can put an X in there, which is useful for that kind of thing. And then interestingly, I found this, you can turn off and on each of the layers, and if you double click on this, then it shows you what's on the layer. So that's kind of a fun little thing. So let's take a look now at the interface. On the left side, what you have here are a list of, well, let's just say that we have some icons here on the left, and what happens if you click on one of these, it will open up a number of different options here in this window. So you can open up all of these if you want. If you do that, then what's going to happen is all of these new menus you'll have to scroll to get to them. So the best thing is just keep them closed unless you want to use them. Now up on the right here where it says Guitar Scientist, there's a menu, and here I can create a new diagram. So if I click on New Diagram, it's going to say warning to tell me that what I've just created before is going to be lost if I click on this. Well, I'm going to go ahead and do that. So here is now. Okay, well, I guess one thing we have to be aware of, that this is beta software, and perhaps that's a little bug that's in there. I'm not sure, but anyway, let's just overlook that. So what I want to do is go through the process of creating a document, and I want to show 8 fretboards. Each one of the fretboards would show one of the chords of a 4-part harmony going through a diatonic scale, using the drop 2 voicings that I spoke about in a previous video. So let me do that. Rather than showing you all the features that I found in Guitar Scientist, I'm going to use the functions that I found will allow me to do what I just said. So I'm just going to stick with the standard black, and I'm going to write the notes like this of the first chord, and this would be a C major 7. Now, since I'm going to be putting 8 fretboards on here and I want to do a scale going along the fretboard, what I need to do first of all is set the length of the fretboard. It's set for 12 right now. So the way you can do this, if I click on options, you can set things like the first fret location, which is at 0 right now, so it shows the nut there, which I want to keep. And then the last fret, this is where you can set the length. So I'm going to set this for 17. All right, so then the fretboard lengthens to 17. Now, since I've done that, I'm hoping and expecting that the other fretboards I'm going to create will also be 17. So here's what I found out. If you click, there's an icon over here. Oh, incidentally, this is something that kind of puzzled me in the beginning. We're kind of used to Windows things where you get where you hover over something and it tells you what the function of the icon is. Well, here in Guitar Scientist, you have to look down on the lower left part of the screen where it shows you the tooltips. That's the word I was trying to think of. And it says add fretboard. So if I say add fretboard, what it does, it puts this fretboard in with 12 frets. But that's not what I want. I want to duplicate the fretboard with 17 fretboards. So by the way, I've turned on these controls here. I can delete that one right there. and it gives me a nice big message saying delete the fretboard entirely. I'm going to say yes. So instead of doing this the way I was just doing it with the plus icon over here, what you can do is, if I look on the top of here, now incidentally, these icons are not the most intuitive thing. You kind of have to get used to them a little bit. Now here's the thing that I found. There's this thing over here which says, if you look down in the lower left corner, it says duplicate fretboard. That is exactly what I want. So I don't know if I can click on that same one again. Yes, you can. So I've got 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And it's also duplicated the dots that I put on the fretboard. So that's kind of a useful thing, because what I'm going to do now is show you another function that I found for moving these dots up the fretboard. So here's the function I'm talking about. If you go, now incidentally, this is an indication over here. There's a little pencil normally, and when it's grayed out like this, that means that's the active fretboard. I don't know if that changes colors with different color schemes, but right now it's that's grayed out. If I click on this one, then that becomes grayed, and you get this gray bar across the top there. Now the feature that I found was to move the dots along the fretboard is this one. So it's up in the tools, in the editing tools, and if I click this one, let's see what happens. That moves it up. So if I move it up twice, click it twice, okay, then I'm going to select the next one, and I'm going to start clicking on that one. 1, 2, 3, 4, like that. And then I'm going to go to the next one. Now actually, I don't really think that this is necessary thing to do, because I'm going to have to change these chords anyway, because they're not all major 7th chords, which this shape is going to create for us. But I'm just going to do this just to kind of show you that this function exists. Actually, we can use one of these. So if I select this one and I go 1, 2, 3, 4, go to there, then that one I can actually keep. So basically what I've done is gone ahead and done all of the chords in position that they're supposed to be in, at least with the root note being correct. So what I'm going to do now is go through and change all of the chords to the chord types that would occur in the diatonic scale. And as well as doing that, what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the colors to use the color scheme that I'm using in my course, and that is with the root note in black, thirds in red, and the fifths in blue, and the 7ths in green. So let's try that. What I need to do is go into the palette here. So I'm going to choose, we've already got the black notes. So the next note is going to be, I'm going to choose blue, because blue is going to be the 5th, and that note is going to be right there. So I have to click it twice, one to turn it off and one to turn it back on again. So that's going to be the same in most cases, except for, of course, let's see, when we get to here, and then it's going to be there. And the reason for that is because we have a diminished chord, or a minor 7 flat 5. So it's a flat 5 right there. And there's one more right there. Okay, so that's the 5ths. Now in this inversion of the drop 2 voicing, the 3rd is going to be the highest note. So I'm going to click on the red, and instead of that note being there, it's going to be there. So the first one is okay. Actually, I'm going to change that one, make sure it's a red, and the 3rd one is going to be red. So the 4th one is going to be a major. So it's either going to be a major or a minor 3rd. So we've got 2 like that, and then 2 more minors. All right, and then back to a major 3rd right there. Now the last note I'm going to change is the 7th, which is going to be on the 3rd string. So I'm going to change that now to green. That's fine where it is. Change that color. So this one is going to be, oops, instead of going to be there, it's going to be on that fret, and again on this fret here. And then in this case, it's going to be there instead of there. Oops, I'm sorry. It's going to be there instead of there. This one is going to be This is our 5th chord in the scale, and then here we're going to have that 7th note right there, and this one is going to be right there, and then we're back to the major 7th right there. So that's color coded all of those as 1st, 3rd, 5th, and 7th. Now what I'm going to do is type in the titles, because this gives us a nice area. Actually, if I click on this one, I can click on, whoops, actually the title is here. It's like a picture of a pencil, and that says title. All right, so what I'm going to do here is put the actual name of the chord, and I can do that on each one of these. If I click the pencil there, all right. And here we have B minus 7 flat 5. Now I'm going to give the whole document a title, and what I'll write in here. So if you click on this area on the top, let's see what happens. I'm going to call it, so that's got the document like that. Now what I want to do is to be able to turn off this stuff over here. So how you do that is on the lower left, there's a control over here that says toggle per fretboard controls. I click on that one, those are gone. And then if I already have this turned on, which is actually a white background. If I turn that off, then you get this kind of a background. But this is kind of how it's going to look on a sheet. Now let me show you something interesting about this. If you click on notation, there are some nice options here. We've got the chords specified by dots and by the color code that I'm using, but you have some nice options here. You can actually, if you click on this number here, what happens is it's going to put the intervals in for you. So you can see that is, it says that's a flat 3. Okay, so there's something wrong with this because it doesn't recognize which is the root note. So I found the control for that, and let me just see if I can find that. So here's the feature I was looking for. If you go to Tools, and you'll notice on the editing tools, there's a thing that looks like a caret. And if you look down in the lower left, it says Root Selector. I'm going to turn that one on, and then what you do is you go over to the note that you consider to be the root of the chord, and then all of the other notes will adjust. Now this is really cool because I could actually pick any of the notes, whether they're on, create some rootless chords, and it will show what kind of a chord you would name that. So this is very, it's a very nice, interesting tool. I'm going to change these. Each one of these has to be adjusted so that the root note is on the 5th string. So I just click each one of those notes. I just found a bug. It looks like the size of the fretboard has actually changed because I did some undo functions. It actually undid the settings of the fretboard. Now another nice feature is, as well as the intervals, you can also specify the notes. So if I click on this icon over here, then it's going to show the notes of the chord. Now if you are from other countries where they're using the tonic solfa, I guess they call it tonics, or the solfege, you actually have that too. So you can turn that one on there if that's something that you want to use. So I'm going to turn this one back to. Oops! It looks like there might be another bug in this because. Oh, okay. So anyway, somehow, maybe I was clicking too fast and the program wasn't catching up. So I can also turn this off with that button right there. Now, interestingly too, it seems like I lost my title, so that might be another little bug. So I'm going to have to rewrite that one in. Now, since this has changed my fretboards, what I want to do is be able to make the fretboards, instead of being 12, I want to make them 17 frets. So the way you do that is in the options, and here is where the frets are specified. Now interestingly, it does say last fret 17, which is not true because it's actually 12. So I think this still needs to be worked out here. Now here's the thing. I'm going to try and change this. If I change that, let's try change it to 18. What's actually happened is, I think I've uncovered another glitch here. Oh no, actually this is not. Because what's happened is it must have been that this fretboard was active, so it's actually done what it's supposed to do in this case. It's changed that to 18. Now the thing is, if you want to change all of the fretboards, you have to click a little button which is right here. It says Edit All. So I'm going to change that right now and move that back to 17. So now we're back at 17 frets. Now that I've gone back and put in a title in the document, what I want to do is save it, which is something I should have probably done before. So where you save it is in this position right here. You got a picture of an old floppy disk here, so it says Store Document into your account. I'm going to click on that one, and what it says is I can specify here guitar, and this is for chords. So this is kind of giving it some, how do you say, some metadata or something. And the key of the diagram is in the key of C. And save this diagram into your account. So here it says generating preview image, 100%. So that's done already. It says saving preview image is not done, and saving editable document into user account is not done. So if I click on that, then let's see. Perhaps there's something wrong here. All right. Well, you know, this program is not perfect yet, but let's see. Maybe it saved it, maybe not. So at this point in time, I wasn't able to resolve this issue of being able to solve this problem of not being able to save. So what I'm actually going to do is I'm going to try and print this just to see if I can save what I've got on the screen. So the way you do that, and I had, when I was messing around with this before, I had a little trouble with the printing. So let's see what we're going to do with this. Now, the interesting thing is it's got this, this is called the, when you click on this one, it says focus mode. So focus mode is where you get rid of all the clutter and you just have this. But the thing that I don't like about this is if you don't know what these icons are, you don't get the tooltips. Now to get the tooltips, you have to turn this on, and then the tooltips are going to be down there. So I click on this one over here. Now we have the tooltips down here. So here's where you can either print the document or you can download the document, which converts it into an image, and that can either be a PNG or a PDF format. So I'm going to try that first. So I'm going to try, first of all, the download document commands and see. Let's see how that works. Okay, so here is the document. Let's see. Okay, that looks good to me if that downloads like that. And then I'm going to click on download PDF. Let's see how that works. Okay, what do you want to do with made by guitarscientist.com PDF, blah, 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 from editor guitarscientist.com. I am going to say save it. All right, where did it save it? Okay, running security scan. I'm going to open the folder. Let's see if I can see that. So here it is. Double click on this one, and if I can just do this, let's see how this is. So this is, apparently that's opened the PDF file, and everything looks good. Excellent. Now that I've done that, if I go back to this other screen, this is the screen that popped up when I was doing the download. It looks like I have to close the preview right here. And okay, so now I'm going to try the other option. Let's try the print. So I'm going to say print document. I'm going to print this to a PDF. Now I have a Brother printer. I've got Microsoft Print to PDF. Okay, so I'm going to select that one and see what happens. This diagram right here does not look good. In this case, this has not done a good job because it does not print what's on the screen. So the Guitar Scientist editor has a few issues, one of which is you cannot save. And now that may be because I did something. I've been logged into another machine. I don't know if that had an effect on that. It's very possible. I since logged out, but it still won't save. This is a beta version. I've got to emphasize that. I haven't really used the previous version, so I can't really compare. But I consider these issues a minor, and this is a free software, and Giuseppe Moda, the guy who invented this, does this as a hobby and gives it away for free. Now this is a great tool. It's got some very flexible options here for chords and scales, and it has different tunings. It's got all kinds of things which I haven't really delved into so much, and I may do another video on those things if there's interest in that. I hope that you found this useful, and this is an interesting product, and by using this tool that you will stay even more tuned, and I do look forward to seeing you soon. Don't forget to hit the subscribe.